hero, this super talented superstar, Mr. Tom Holland. Hello.
Hey everyone, hi Charlotte, how are you?
It's very nice to meet you virtually.
Moving to better light. I'm not a cinematographer, so I was sitting in the wrong place.
Unlike me, who spent hours getting my lighting right.
How are you doing?
A matching ring to you with the lips on. Can you see that?
Oh, you do?
Yeah. Can you see my lips ring? No, this one. I'm doing really well. I wish you were here in the cinema. You're a regular.
Yeah, well, I would love to be.
Yeah.
It's been so long since I've been in a theatre, and we were just shooting Spider-Man 3 in Atlanta, and one of my favorite days of the week is every Monday we would have a film night, and across the street in the studio was a cinema, and the studio would book it out for us, and myself, Zendaya, Jacob, our director, our producers would all get together and we would watch a film and break it down and talk about it throughout the week, and it was amazing. So I'm so excited to get back in the theatre.
I know. Well, during lockdown, with my fellow film geek Dan Smith, we ran an online film club, and we watched a different movie from around the world every week. So we watched Run Lola Run, and then we spoke to Tom Tickler, and then the next week we do Taika Waititi's film and talk to him. And it was great, and there were just people all around the world watching movies at the same time. It was just joyous.
Yeah, it was the perfect time to really kind of educate yourself. My brother Harry and I have really spent the last sort of 4 or 5 months trying to watch a new film every day, and if not every day, at least every other day. And we've watched a lot of foreign films. I've realized that I have the attention span of like a gnat. So the reason why I love foreign films is it forces you to focus, because I can't listen. I don't understand the language. So you have to watch, you have to read the subtitles. So we've been watching a lot of Korean cinema the last sort of few months, which has been fun.
Oh yeah, they're amazing, off the scale. Have you seen Minari?
That's the one that we've been trying to get, but you know, these films nowadays, they're so hard to get hold of. You don't know what streaming service they're on or this or that. So we actually haven't seen that one.
You see Parasite?
Love Parasite. Was a huge fan of Parasite. We watched his earlier film the other day, Makings of a Murderer, or Memory of a Murderer, I think it was, which was a great film. We watched another film called Handmaiden. Have you seen that?
That's wild.
That's mental, that film, but it's amazing. It's fantastic.
Like, talk about a ride. It's like Spider-Man, but like indie.
I couldn't believe it. The person who suggested the film will remain nameless, but there were moments in the theatre when we were all looking at them like, really? This was the film you thought we should watch after work? Okay. But if anyone hasn't seen it and is definitely over the age of 18, it's definitely worth a watch, and it's a fantastic piece of cinema, and it's excellent.
Yeah. Growing up, was there a movie that you watched with your family that you remember? Because I remember seeing, we used to watch every Christmas, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and it just scared the living daylights out of me. I only lasted, as soon as the child catcher came on, I was off.
Yeah, I remember. Everyone who is an actor always says really arty things. They'll say like, oh, I remember sitting down with my dad when I was 4 and Cape Fear was my favorite film. I'm just not that type of person. When we were kids, our favorite film growing up was Holes.
Oh yeah, great.
Disney film with Shia LaBeouf, and when we were kids, we used to love that film. So that was something we watched relentlessly. A film that we did, a critically acclaimed film that we loved growing up as kids, though, would have been Back to the Future.
Oh, yes.
So that, for me, is one of the only perfect movies ever made.
If you could go back to the future, what would you say to your parents?
If I could go back to the future, what would I say to my parents? I would say to my dad, don't let me give up golf. Because I just came back from the golf course now, and I played the worst round of golf maybe of all time. And if they hadn't allowed me to quit golf, I would be so much better. So that's what I would tell my dad.
Yeah, don't give it. Yeah, that'd be really good piece of advice. I wanted to know what your proudest movie making moment was. It's a tough one.
Well, that is a tough one. My proudest movie making moment. I've had a lot.
Well, you can have more. We make up the rules, so you can have more than one.
a lot of moments I'm very proud of. I mean, the first time I donned the Spider-Man suit and walked on set for the first time, I was very proud of myself. You know, we've had moments with the Brothers Trust, which is a foundation that we work with, that we run, and through my career, we've been able to do some amazing things with that, which I've been very, very proud of. But recently, I did a film called Cherry with the Russo brothers, where I'm sort of playing a veteran suffering from PTSD, and he sort of spirals into substance abuse and a life of crime. And to research and prepare for that film, I went to the Veterans Hospital in Cleveland and spoke to and interviewed maybe 30 different, you know, soldiers, and got to know them and sat in their therapy sessions and listened to them and heard their stories. And I got an email from their from the head doctor there after they'd seen the film, just saying how touched they were that I took the time to speak to them, how they could really see that I'd done the work and really paid respects to their stories through the film. So for me, receiving that email was a really, really touching thing. And I was very proud of everyone involved in the film, that we did those people justice.
It's a beautiful, beautiful film. It's searingly honest. It
Yes.
must have been incredibly difficult to prepare for, because you had to lose weight. It was physical as well as mental, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the physical aspect was demanding, and losing the weight was uncomfortable, and I was miserable. But I always say, when you're portraying real people, or if you're representing millions of people around the world, you know, there are millions of people suffering from substance abuse and PTSD. There is a level of responsibility to do justice to those characters. So I always say hard work is good work. And if it's uncomfortable and if you're having a hard time, it means you're probably doing it right.
Yeah.
So for me, albeit it was difficult, but I wouldn't have changed the thing I'd done.
No, I think it's amazing. And I think it's just a beautiful, beautiful film. And I urge everyone to watch it. They can see it now, can't they? It's on right now, and on Apple, I think.
It's on Apple TV, yeah, correct.
And I think I'm a writer, but being an actor is similar in the sense that you get a chance to excavate other people's lives, and you have a chance to be curious, but also to kind of really empathize and sympathize. But it was just such a moving performance. It was amazing.
Thank you. Thank you, Charlotte. That's very kind. Thank you.
I wanted to know that if you could remake any movie, this is another tough one. If you could remake any movie, what film would it be and why?
See, that's a tough one again, because I think when I was doing Spider-Man 1 and we were prepping for that film, I sat down with my director and just sort of said, John Watts, who I love, I said, what do you want me to do? What do you want? And he basically said, I want you to be this generation's Marty McFly. That was his goal for me. And that was a challenge I was willing to accept, something I was really excited for, and ultimately something I think I achieved.
Yeah. So
people ask me all the time, you should play Marty McFly. You should play Marty McFly. I think that'd be really cool. That film is so perfect.
Yeah.
As much as I would love to play that character, and I'd love to whiz around on a hoverboard, and I'd love to do everything that happens in those films, you'd be doing a disservice to that story. So that would be the film I'd want to remake, because I will not let anyone remake it.
That's really good.
I would rather sit on it and not let anyone. Yeah.
Yes, get the other stratospheres, and I'm obsessed with Mars. And I'm just wondering, if you went to Mars, what movies would you take to remind you of?
Wow, what movies would I take to remind me of Earth on Mars? One of my favorite films of all time is a really well-made film. It's a fantastic story. It's about family, more importantly, a father-son relationship. I have an amazing relationship with my dad. So I think that's why it hits home even harder. And it reminds me of home. It's a film I watch while I'm away. You know, obviously I spend a lot of time on the road, and it's a film I watch while I'm away. So I imagine on Mars, it would have the same effect, but it is the Richard Curtis film About Time.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, again, not the coolest film in the world for an actor to say is one of their favorite films, but that film makes me so happy. And Rachel McAdams and Donald Gleason are so watchable and fun and loving in that film that I'm a huge fan of that film.
Yeah, Richard Curtis films, they should be prescribed on the NHS just because they make you happy, don't they?
Absolutely. I had a friend on was it Spider-Man or Uncharted? We were on some film, one of the two that I was doing in the last year, and they were like, I want to watch a film tonight, but I'm feeling a bit blue, like I don't know what I want to watch. I said, honestly, watch this film about time, and if you don't come in tomorrow like ready to work, then that's on me. But I'm telling you, this film is going to make you so happy. It's an amazing film. That scene on the beach.
Did it work? Did they come in miserable, or did they cheered up?
Do you know what? I don't think they watched it, actually. I don't think they watched it. I think they probably watched Fast and Furious 12 or something.
Spider-Man. Yeah. I wanted to see if there were questions from fans, because I know that they are very excited. And where are they? Where are the fans' questions? I can't see them.
Are you in the Olympic Studios now?
Yes, I'm here. I wish you were here. You just.
I can't wait to come back.
Yes, yes.
My brother Harry and I, because we're now home until January. My next job doesn't start. We're doing a show called The Crowded Room, which is really cool. And it doesn't start until January, I believe. So I've got so much time at home. So I'm just going to come and live there, essentially.
Yeah, the 17th, from the 17th. I basically live here. That's why they let me.
Is that when it opens? The 17th of this month? Of next month?
Now, yeah, 17th. Oh. Tom, you said, I don't know who this question's from. Oh, yes, it's from, I hope I'm saying this correct, Eiley Collins. Tom, you said recently you want to be more selective about the roles you take moving forward and perhaps return to your roots in indie films. What does that selectivity look like? Oh, this is an intelligent question. What are you looking for in a role and why?
I think the first thing is a challenge. If it's not something that particularly challenges me, then I'm not necessarily interested. I really like working hard and I really like pushing myself. So finding something that can really kind of take me out of my comfort zone. I like characters from places I've never been, because it gives me an excuse to go to these places and experience them and learn about them. Obviously, direct.
Impossible.
Yeah, like The Impossible. We went to Thailand. I've never been to Thailand. Love Thailand. I would love to go back to Thailand. So one of the massive luxuries of this job is you get to travel the world and spend more time in these places than you would do if you're on holiday. So if a character takes me to, I don't know, Iceland, I would be well up for that, because I've always wanted to go to Iceland.
You see everyone quickly writing scripts about Iceland.
Yeah, absolutely.
Challenging yourself, what, physically or mentally or both? You can.
Both, really. You know, physical challenges come with every job. I really think figuring out a character's physicality is the first step to stepping away from yourself. I don't know if you noticed, but in Cherry, like, his movement is very labored and he's very slow, whereas my physicality in Spider-Man is very clumsy and he's kind of all over the place. So the physical challenges for me is something that I love. The mental challenges is what I find more difficult. But I work with an acting coach called Ben Perkins, who's a great friend of mine, and he is able to kind of dig these characters out of me, which is really fun.
How does he do that? Do you mind me asking?
It's just a trust thing, really. It's just about workshopping stuff and not being afraid to look like a fool. Mistakes. You know, I've made, I don't know, 20 films now, and some of my best ideas have come from making mistakes on set or making bad choices with character, but that bad choice breathed life into an idea that completely changed the arc of where he was going. So he's just really good at kind of getting it out of me, and I trust him, and I love him. So I'm able to kind of feel comfortable and figure this stuff out.
Will you see him before you take a role on, or do you see him during the whole process, or both?
Yeah. So for example, my next job that I have coming up, I spoke to him a few times about, will you read the book? Will you have a look at the subject matter? Do you think it's my next job that I have is kind of an actor's dream? I can't really talk that much about it, but it is an amazing opportunity for me as a young actor. And he, as someone who loves shaping performance from people, was very excited about the idea of me doing it. So he's very much involved in helping me decide whether I should do something. There's been a few things where he's like, I don't think you can do that yet. You need to take some time. So he's pretty great.
That sounds great. More questions. Thank you very much for the other question. You can write my questions. Karen, what makes you say yes to a character? We've just done that one, I think. Which character have you played are you most similar to in real life? Oh, that's a bit tricky. Is that tricky?
Ooh, which character am I most similar to in real life? I'd have to say Peter Parker.
Oh, yeah.
Peter Parker has this impossible need to impress people. Yeah. And sometimes that's a great thing, and sometimes it's a really bad thing, because I get really stressed that I've upset people all the time. And it can be as simple as someone comes in, I go, morning, and they're like, morning. And I'm like, oh no, what have I done?
I'm exactly the same.
And sometimes that can be a really bad thing, but then also it equally can be a great thing, because it gives me the motivation to work really hard and to push myself and to make sure that I am impressing people. And I think Peter Parker suffers from that as well. So I'd have to say that him and I are probably the most similar. It would be worrying if I said devil all the time.
Yeah.
A murderer.
Yes. What about Tom? What was your best scene in Chaos Walking from Julie B?
My best scene? There's some pretty cool fight scenes in that film. I haven't actually seen the final edit yet. I haven't had the time to sit down and watch it. I watched an edit years ago that hadn't been finished yet. So I guess that's a question that I'll probably have to wait until I've seen the full film to answer. But there's a fight scene in a river that I was very proud of, that took a lot of energy out of me. And I think it's pretty compelling in the film.
Yeah, I think it, yes. Just looking, what's the best film that you've seen at the Olympic? I think that might come from the Olympic owners.
I have to say, and this is very embarrassing, I've only ever seen my own films at the Olympic. The Olympic have been so kind to us over the years with the Brothers Trust and let us use the theatres to host screenings, for children in need who are suffering from illnesses, that from charities that we sponsor, and then also for fans that have won raffle tickets to come, and all the money that we raise goes to these charities. So I've only actually ever been to see films that I'm in, which is terrible and makes me sound like such a narcissist. But I promise you, I will come all the time.
How does it feel though, seeing yourself on the screen? Is there a disconnect?
I think one of the best things about my job is that I'll work somewhere for 4 months, 5 months, meet 200 new people, make new friends, make new relationships. And then at the end of the film, I get this kind of perfectly made scrapbook, which is the film. So I get to sit down and watch a film I made 5 years ago and just think about, oh, I remember when we were doing that because that's when so-and-so fell over, or that's when this went wrong. And like the other day, Zendaya, Jacob and I sat down and watched Spider-Man 1. And, we're 24 now. We were 19 when we made that film. And it was so nice to be able to reminisce and to look back on what we'd achieved as young kids and to the memories we made. So yeah, my favorite thing about my job is that at the end of every job, I get this perfect little scrapbook that I can keep forever and watch whenever I want and reminisce about the amazing people and memories that I've made.
Yeah. Is that what you love most about the movie making process? That sense of collaborative journey towards telling a story?
Yeah, I think the solidarity that is built on set, the camaraderie between the crew and the cast, and everyone has the same goal in mind. Everyone wants to make the film as best as possible. Everyone is working with that in mind. You get to travel the world with people. I'm kind of lucky now that I'm at a stage in my career where it's almost impossible for me to walk onto a film set and not have someone there that I've worked with before. So I'm always catching up with old friends, and, you know, we might find ourselves in Morocco for 6 weeks, and all of a sudden me and my mates are in Morocco, and we make movies 5 days a week, and 2 days a week we ride camels around or something.
Yeah.
So I just love the kind of the lifestyle it brings, and the people that I've met. And, you know, I'm going to the pub after this to go meet a bunch of my mates who are all carpenters who worked on Spider-Man 2. So I love the friends and the traveling, and just the sense of accomplishment you get when everyone's at the wrap party and having a good time.
Oh, it's great. So to see if I've got a couple more questions, because I know they're coming in thick and fast. Was there a movie or a movie maker who ignited your passion or continues to ignite your passion?
It's interesting. I never wanted to be an actor. It wasn't something I sought out. I kind of was lucky that it found me. It wasn't really until I'd worked with Naomi Watts on The Impossible that I realized that this could potentially be something I could do for a living. And, you know, like, there are the obvious ones, that the Tom Hankses, the Leonardo DiCaprios of the world that I look up to and admire. But I think the actor that I really am blown away by time and time again, and he will laugh, and every time I say this he laughs, is Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, he's amazing.
He's just amazing, and he's such a nice guy, and we had so much fun working together. I just would love the opportunity to work with him on something where we can really sink our teeth into the characters. But I think if you look at his work, no two films are the same. No two characters are the same. He's able to differentiate himself with his physical capabilities, his emotional capabilities, the way he can manipulate his face. Like, sometimes I go, that's Jake Gyllenhaal, but you don't look like Jake Gyllenhaal. I don't understand how you're doing that. And he's great.
With the devil. Yeah, I don't know how he does it either.
So I'm going to call him after this, because I haven't spoken to him in ages, and I need to. As soon as I'm going to call him.
Yeah.
Just tell him
don't let us stop you. We can have a three-way chat. What is it about the magic of the big screen? Not being in it, but going to see it that you love, because this is all about celebrating return to cinema.
I love the event of going. I love the snacks. I know that's a weird thing to say, but I love the cinema snacks.
Are you salty or sweet?
I don't do sweet popcorn. I think sweet popcorn is mental. I don't get it. It's wrong. I love the event. I love the snacks. I love Carrie and I now really kind of educating ourselves and learning about film, and, you know, we're picking our favorite cinematographers, and we're picking our favorite directors and writers and producers and costume designers and all that sort of stuff. And we love sitting down after a film and breaking it down, talking about what we loved, what we didn't love, what we would have done differently, what we learned. So for me, it's mainly the debate afterwards is what I love about cinema.
Yeah, the geekery. Love
the geekery, like
making
I like it, I loved it, all that sort of stuff, you know.
Can you see yourself directing, do you think?
Yes, absolutely. It's one of my big goals, a goal in which I don't want to rush. You know, I'm 24. I've got plenty of time ahead of me to do it. Edgar Wright is one of my favorite, on both of our favorites. We're a huge fan of his, and his movies for us. That's another film. If I had to take a film to Mars to remind me of home, Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
That's a special film. But, you know, I love cinema. I love going to the movies. I absolutely love going to the movies. And I'm very, very excited to get back there because I missed it.
Me too. I wanted to ask, what do you reckon is Holland superpower?
What do I reckon is my own Tom Holland superpower? God, that's a really difficult question.
No one said it'd be easy.
That's a really difficult question. God, that's a really, really difficult question. What was the question?
What's your own personal Tom Holland superpower?
Do you know what? And sounds crazy. I'm really good at apologizing. Like, I think it's a very good thing to be able to say, like, do you know what? I messed up there. I will take that on the chin. I apologize. It won't happen again. And I think that is something. Oh, you've gone. Hello?
Oh, what's happening?
Hi, Daniel. I lost Charlotte. She disappeared.
He's muted.
How are you?
I'm very good. I love that. A superpower. That's sort of the most superpower, but it's a very good one to have.
I think it's a good one. I mean, being able to take something on the chin and say, do you know what? I actually really fucked up there. That's my bad. I think it's quite an important lesson to learn, you know?
For sure. So I wonder what Charlotte would have asked you next.
I don't know.
Oh, you were going to talk about Edgar Wright. You were going to talk about Edgar, who I don't know if you caught any of the interview that I did with him earlier, but yeah, I mean, he's, we've just made this film last night in Soho with him, with Anya Taylor-Joy,
yeah,
and Thomasin McKenzie, Terence Stamp, and the late great Dame Dinah Rigg, which was huge fun to do, and I'm sure just listening to the taste that you've got, oh, there, Charlotte's back, it will be something you look forward to. But what of his movies, which is your favorite, would you say? Or do you, I mean, Shaun of the Dead?
I mean, Hot Fuzz will always be that will easily be in my top 5 favorite films of all time.
I agree. Multiple viewings, right?
Oh, I mean, I must be in the 20s now. and I watch films, my top 5 films are based off of the way they make me feel. And that film reminds me of home and makes me happy. And it's also a really well-made film.
It really is, isn't it?
Fun. It's really, it's intricate. It's clever. It's funny.
You're right. It's very British, isn't it? There's something.
It's so British.
Yeah.
And I'm always very proud. Like if I'm sitting down with American friends and they're sort of like, "What should we watch?" I'm like, "Can we please watch this film called Hot Fuzz? You'll love it." And it's a little bit of home, so I would love to watch it.
What's great about Edgar, I guess, is that he can then make Baby Driver, which is an incredibly American film,
but also equally as good. It's a great film. It's super fun. It's like a great popcorn film, and it's a great film. I really enjoyed that film.
I've got a request to show this picture that someone has drawn of you. Can you see that? Oh, can you see? Oh.
To the camera left. Oh, wow. Little Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Nice. That's amazing.
I have to say, I don't know why we have to show you this, but maybe that's why I was taken off air, so I could get that. Spider-Man from Thomas Jenkins. Thomas Jenkins, huge round of applause. And
I think we probably have to wrap up now.
We have to wrap up. I can't bear it. I would love to talk to you all day.
This has been so fun.
It's been so fun. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. I'm so excited that the theatres are
in the
opening up
cinema.
again.
We can watch.
I'll see you soon.
Yeah, we can watch 2 of your movies this year, can't we?
Back to back. We'll do it. We'll do a marathon.
A double.
Right.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Charlotte, Daniel, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
See you later, guys.
Yeah, we'll.
Bye.
Great. Bye, Tom. Oh, right. Okay. Just